2022 Urbandale City Council meeting, and ask Nicole to take roll call, please.
Blake,
Here.
Carberry Montgomery,
Here.
Kroll,
Here.
McBurney.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, please stand as you're able for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Urbandale is a national leader in character counts, endeavoring at all times to promote and model the principles of trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. In conducting tonight's meeting, we expect that all participants will act in a respectful manner consistent with these principles. Item 2 is to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Blake,
Second.
second by McBurney. Discussion, roll call.
Blake,
Yes.
McBurney,
Yes.
Carberry Montgomery,
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
Thank you. Item 3 is citizens forum. This is the opportunity to address the council on something that's not a part of tonight's regular agenda. Vern, did you want to say something? Okay, I'll recognize you if you want to come up, please.
Vern Millsap, Urbandale. Whoa, shoot. I just wanted to say briefly that, we've got basic income, we have low rent, housing, this is coming. But can we leave the equity off of our playgrounds, please? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else like to address the council on something that's not a part of tonight's agenda? All right, seeing none, we'll move on. Item 4 is to adopt the minutes from the last 2 meetings. First is the November 1 meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Kroll,
Second.
second by Blake. Discussion, roll call.
Kroll,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
McBurney,
Yes.
Carberry Montgomery.
Yes.
Thank you.
And then secondly, is the November 8 lunch and learn.
So moved.
Kroll,
Second.
second by Blake. Discussion, roll call.
Kroll,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
McBurney,
Yes.
Carberry Montgomery.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That passes. Item 5 is the consent agenda. We have 12 items for approval.
So moved.
Motion by Blake,
Second.
second by McBurney. Discussion, roll call.
Blake,
Yes.
McBurney,
Yes.
Kroll,
Yes.
Carberry Montgomery.
Yes.
All right, that passes. Thank you. Item 6, public hearings is, first is item 6.1, and that's public hearing to consider the City Hall roof replacement. And Nicole, do we have what the public notice was?
Oh, I apologize.
That's all right. Public notice was published somewhere.
Yes.
Do we have any objections to the formal notices?
We did not.
All right.
There were none.
All right. I'll ask for a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion by Kroll,
Second.
second by Blake. Discussion, roll call.
Kroll,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
McBurney,
Yes.
Carberry Montgomery.
Yes.
All right, thank you. And to introduce this item is our, Scott Hope. Okay. I was expecting Dick to stand up there, but.
Thank you, Mayor. and
Assistant Parks and Rec Director Scott Hope. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Just reviewing here a little bit, this is to replace the roof on this building. This is just the membrane under the building. It wouldn't be anything that you're going to see from the street. The current membrane was installed in 2005, and it had a 10-year warranty, so we are well past that. Areas on the roof are starting to show decay, so we want to stay ahead of that. This will be with a brand-new roof. This one will actually be white as opposed to dark, so it'll have better heat reflection, and it will come with a 25-year warranty. It is to replace the ridge caps, and the flashing will also be replaced at that time. So again, nothing you will see from the streets, so it's kind of a behind-the-scenes improvement. And we did receive favorable bids, and with Central States Roofing being the lowest from our bids. So thank you.
All right.
I'll answer any questions, or Dick will, because if we have any technical questions, it's on him.
All right. Thank you, Scott. Any questions for Scott on this? All right, thank you. We are in public hearing on this item. Would anyone like to address the council on this item? Okay, seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion by Blake.
Second.
Second by McBurney. Discussion, roll call.
Blake,
Yes.
McBurney,
Yes.
Kroll,
Yes.
Carberry Montgomery,
Yes.
All right, thank you. Then we have 3 items for approval.
Motion to approve resolution 273-2022.
Motion by McBurney.
Second.
Second by Blake. Discussion, roll call.
McBurney,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Kroll,
Yes.
Carberry Montgomery,
Yes.
All right, motion to approve resolution 274-2022.
Second.
McBurney, second by Blake. Discussion, please vote.
McBurney,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Kroll,
Yes.
Carberry Montgomery,
Yes.
All right, motion to approve resolution 275-2022.
Motion by McBurney.
Second.
Second by Blake. Discussion, please, roll call, please.
McBurney,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Kroll,
Yep.
Carberry Montgomery,
Yes.
All right, item 7 is to establish public hearings versus item 7.1. That's to establish a public hearing for the Parks and Public Works Maintenance Facility Solar PV Array, and that's for December 13th meeting.
Move resolution 271-2022.
Motion by Blake.
Second.
Second by Kroll. Discussion, roll call.
Blake,
Yes.
Kroll,
Yes.
McBurney,
Yes.
Carberry Montgomery,
Yes.
All right, thank you. Item 7.2 is to establish a public hearing for the North Walnut Creek Bank stabilization from Hickman Avenue to Roseland Drive.
Move resolution 268-2022.
Motion by Blake.
Second.
Second by McBurney. Discussion, roll call.
Blake,
Yes.
McBurney,
Yes.
Kroll,
Yes.
Carberry Montgomery,
Yes.
And then item 7.3 is to establish the public hearing for the satellite salt storage building.
Move resolution 272-2022.
Motion by Blake.
Second.
Second by McBurney. Discussion, roll call.
Blake,
Yes.
McBurney,
Yes.
Kroll,
Yes.
Carberry Montgomery,
Yes.
All right, thank you. That takes us to item 8, planning and zoning items. First is item 8.1, and that's to consider ordinance 2022-19 vacating a portion of the sidewalk easement in Gulfview Estates Plat 1 and Quail Ridge Plat 1. And to introduce this is our chief planner, Christy Bales. Christy?
Very good. Your first reading and the public hearing was 2 weeks ago. This is, we removed this from the consent agenda to waive the second and combine it with the third and final reading for tonight. This was a staff-initiated request to vacate an easement along Douglas. Now that we've widened Douglas, we don't need this 15-foot pedestrian easement along these single-family lots.
Okay. All right, thank you, Christy. Any questions for Christy? All right.
Okay, then move ordinance 2022. Oh, okay. To request to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings of this ordinance.
Motion by Blake,
Second.
second by Kroll. Discussion, roll call.
Blake,
Yes.
Kroll,
Yes.
McBurney,
Yes.
Carberry Montgomery,
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So then, motion to waive the second and approve the third and final reading of ordinance 2022-19, vacating a portion of the sidewalk easement in Gulfview Estates Plat 1 and Quail Ridge Plat 1.
Motion by Blake,
Second.
second by Kroll. Discussion, roll call.
Blake,
Yes.
Kroll,
Yes.
McBurney,
Yes.
Carberry Montgomery,
Yes.
All right, thank you, that passes. Item 8.2 is to consider the Waterford Way Townhome Site Plan at 142nd Street and Springbrook Trail. Christie?
Am I sharing?
no, not on there yet.
Not yet. We'll do this one. There we go. Thank you. This is a site plan for 52 new townhomes near the intersection of 142nd Street and Waterford Road. 142nd Street is the county line, and it is here along the east side of the project. For those of you not familiar, when the city did the rezoning for the PUD master plan, all the 160 acres here between 142nd and 156th were rezoned and are part of the Roble PUD master plan. that 160 acres was broken up into single-family large lots, single-family small lots. It does include the new Barrett Boson Park there at 156th and Waterford, and then also includes some townhome options and some multifamily development there at the corner. Tonight's proposal, though, is just on the the townhomes, the single-family attached units. You can see the site plan that's planned here on your screen. Access will be on North Park Drive, and then it will go into private streets that serve the townhomes in that development, with the planned extension for future townhomes to the west as it curves up and around back towards Waterford Road. The PUD was amended to allow 50-foot wide lots on the south side of North Park Drive, and then these townhomes. And so it kind of transitions from the bigger lots to the medium lots to the smaller townhome lots. The front yard setback along all streets is 25 feet. So they're showing that here. These buildings will be built with the front facing North Park Drive, and the access to the garage will be from the rear. All units are required to have 2-car garages, and they're meeting that. The development's also required to have extra visitor parking, and they show those parking stalls in their site plan as well. A 50-foot landscape buffer will be required along 142nd Street, and they show that landscaping in their plan, as well as some landscaping scattered throughout the development. I mentioned the park at the beginning of this. When the 160 acres project came through, parkland dedication was part land, part trail construction. If you've been to Barrett Boson, part of that trail's along the drainage way, and then part cash. So when this goes to plat, their part will be the cash contribution. Staff is recommending approval, subject to the comments and conditions noted in your staff report. The Planning and Zoning Commission met last week and recommended approval as well. I'll take any questions you may have.
All right, thank you, Christie. Any questions for Christie on this? Not, then I'll ask for a motion.
Motion to approve council letters 7264.
Motion by McBurney,
Second.
second by Blake. Discussion, roll call?
McBurney,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Kroll,
Yes.
Carberry Montgomery.
Yes.
All right, that passes. Thank you, Christie.
You're welcome.
Item 9, regular agenda items. First is item 9.1, and is that is to consider the custodial services contract for the park shelter houses, the open-air shelters, and the outside bathrooms. And Jen, Scott, answer any questions if there are any? Okay,
Move council letter 7263.
motion by Kroll,
Second.
second by Blake. Discussion, roll call?
Kroll,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
McBurney,
Yes.
Carberry Montgomery.
Yes.
All right, that passes. Thank you. Item 9.2 is consider the property and casualty insurance broker agreement with Rolled Insurance Associates LLC. And John, are you going to introduce this? John Coney, our Director of Support Services and Risk Management, will introduce us.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. The city's property casualty broker and agent of record was last done about a decade ago. So back in September, we went out to the market to do an RFP for proposals. We received 5 proposals from that RFP. An internal staff of the city manager, the assistant city manager, economic development director, and myself reviewed those 5. We selected 4 to come in for in-person interviews. Of those 4, we then ranked them based on the criteria outlined in the RFP and then on their cost proposal. Now, the recommendation is to go with World Insurance Associates. They are not our current incumbent broker, but we do believe and have confidence that they will do a great job for us moving forward. Happy to take any questions. And I have Beth Aslin from World Insurance here as well, also to help with specific questions.
All right, great. Thank you, John. Any questions for John on this item?
Motion to approve council letter 7216.
Motion by McBurney,
Second.
second by Kroll. Any further discussion? Please vote. Roll call, please.
McBurney,
Yes.
Kroll,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Carberry Montgomery.
Yes.
All right, that passes. Thank you. Item 9.3 is consider the 28E agreement for the NFC Urbandale Energy Advantage Program. And John will answer. John, do you have any further comments on this one?
I have the last three items, so I'm just going to stay up here, I guess, moving forward. No, this is you, council heard from the NFC for your lunch and learn back in August about the Advantage program. This would be to set up to 10,000 for those that will qualify for an NFC loan or a exterior front porch loan. And so this would be a 0% interest deferred loan, which means that they could take up to the full 10,000 and they would not owe any of that back, and they would not be charged interest until the time they either sold their home or refinanced their home moving forward. And this was part of the ARPA allocation that council had set aside. Happy to answer any additional questions.
All right. Thank you, John.
This is a very quick one with this one. Do they have to have already qualified and used the NFC program, or is this in addition, like anybody could apply if they meet the metrics? They don't have to have an existing relationship with NFC.
You do not have to have an existing relationship with NFC. The piece of this which is slightly different than the current NFC for Urbandale is that you have to be at 80% of the AMI, where currently now that isn't there. So there is no income restriction for the NFC program here. This piece would have that additional restriction on top of it. And that is for federal funding guidelines based on the NFC's incorporation.
All right. Any further questions?
Move approval, council letter 7248.
Motion by Blake,
Second.
second by Kroll. Discussion, roll call?
Blake,
Yes.
Kroll,
Yes.
McBurney,
Yes.
Carberry Montgomery.
Yes.
All right, that passes. Item 9.4 is to discuss mailbox regulations. John, I thought you were going to stay up there, but you have to get your steps back and forth a little bit, right?
I gotta get my walking challenge
There you
steps in.
go.
Yeah, we're all done, but I have to earn it. Last council meeting, you heard from a resident who had had their mailbox hit by a city vehicle. And at that point in time, council asked us to go back through and look at how do we pay for insurance claims on mailboxes? And then also what does our ordinance say on that? So we wanted to give you all a chance to have that discussion tonight. Did some research of metro peer cities, those that surround us here in Des Moines. Did a quick overview of how do they deal with mailbox claims and what do they do to replace those. Most everyone does handle mailboxes. If they're hit by snowplow or snow, most do exempt city or those that have the right to work inside of the right of way from claims that come against a hit mailbox. And then for reimbursement, if someone does not want the entity to replace the mailbox with a breakaway post and USPS approved box, if they wish to purchase their own, it ranges anywhere from 35 to 150. Urbandale sits at 100, and that was updated back in 2009. So we would reimburse if you had your mailbox hit up to 100 if you did not want us to put a new mailbox in for the resident. As far as what else is in there, the recommendation inside of the council letter says that I think we're pretty fair. 100 is right about in line to replace a mailbox. We are the only entity of our peers, though, that allow non-breakaway post mailboxes inside of their city ordinance. So most mailboxes are either post with a top receptacle on it or they're cluster style. So custom is anything else. So that could be surrounded by brick, it could be a steel post, it could be anything additional on top of that, which is what the resident had when they came and said that their mailbox was hit. They had a steel post with a top on it. And so we do allow that via city code. Most everyone else in the metro do not. And the reason they don't is that it's a safety issue. Those mailboxes do not break away when they're struck, either by a car, a truck, a person. And so breakaway posts are much safer. They're also, and so that is why everyone else either does not allow them, or if they passed an ordinance in the last 5 years that says you cannot build the new ones, they grandfather in ones that were previously done. And some say you cannot put new ones in, or if you do, you have to get them permitted, which creates making sure that they are built to code and that things don't become an issue across the way. So the recommendation is for council to look at that and to talk about, should we also prohibit custom mailboxes moving forward? And I'm happy to let you all have a discussion and answer questions that come across the way. And if not, I too, Tim Stovey is also here, and John Larson, and they could help answer questions based on snow and ice removal as well.
Okay. Thank you, John. Who wants to start off? Matt?
Well, I don't think I've purchased a mailbox here recently, so I don't know. Is $100 enough to cover a standard mailbox?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we replaced ours 3 or 4, maybe 5 years ago, and it was no more than $75.
Okay, so that should be more than enough then.
Yeah.
With the custom ones in particular, with snow, I'm curious, do they, like, in my neck of the woods, we have the brick solid ones. Do those actually damage our snow plows when we accidentally hit those?
I'll defer that to Tim Stovey.
I think my car would probably crash or like be demolished before some of those mailboxes.
Those mailboxes in our neighborhood are, unfortunately, they're all incorrectly installed also. So we can hit those without even, with the snowplow blade not even leaving the roadway. But normally, no, they don't. The biggest risk is damaging a vehicle, perhaps injuring somebody that's driving in that vehicle or riding in that vehicle.
Yeah, I was just wondering.
Well, and if I remember correctly, those aren't even allowed by the U.S. Postal Service.
Technically, they're not compliant with Postal
Yeah.
Service regulations. That's correct.
Did we require permits to put those in, or?
We did not.
Okay.
But other cities require permits for that now?
Oh, that's a good question.
Just stay up.
Now I.
Taking me back and forth, yeah. It's in the summary sheet, if I remember correctly, here across the way, there are several, I believe the city of Clive is one that does require a permit.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just gonna look really quick here at my cheat sheet that I brought here. The city of Des Moines does not allow them. They're permitted in the city of Ankeny and also in the city of Clive. So you could replace your custom mailbox. It would just need to go through a permitting process.
Based on my knowledge,
We have some,
the reason for the permitting process is to let them know that, you're placing this in the right of way at your own risk, and if it does get damaged,
Yeah.
it's on you.
Bridget, do you have a question?
Well, I mean, I don't have a solution, but I mean, especially in Matt's neighborhood and some of the ones, between that era and when we went to the cluster mailboxes, we have some pretty nice looking mailboxes. How did those happen without our knowledge and without being up to par with the U.S. Postal Service?
We can all speak.
We can,
Back when we decided we would allow those style mailboxes, we put a detail out on our website and said, if you're gonna build them, you build to this style, if you're the wood post, here's how you build them. So we just gave guidance. We didn't do any checking to see if they're built right or not. We kind of left it up between the resident and the Postal Service to make sure everything was correct and mail would be delivered.
Well, I sure like the ones, in Matt's neighborhood. I think they really add to the neighborhood, but I see the problems they create. But I do think $100 is not a sufficient amount for us for reimbursement. Looking at the other cities, you know, I guess I would feel 150 would be a more reasonable reimbursement rate.
Now, I'd say I would be willing to go up to 150, but I am very willing to do away with custom mailboxes. And frankly, I don't know if I would even want permitting. There's a part of me that's like, if it busts up, all right, you're going to stick the pole in, like, and I mean, it may impact the character of the neighborhood because this one thing is that way, but I don't know. I see those big brick, they look nice, but I think every time I'm like, man, that would hurt me more than it would hurt the mailbox. And I just don't really think those are appropriate, frankly.
Well, you said,
Yeah, the USPS is moving away from them and are not even allowing them. When we were contacted by this, I did do quite a bit of research into it and actually was quite surprised. I was like, oh, you know, we're not even supposed to have these to begin with. So why are we even having that conversation? And there is a very big jump between the standard mailbox that they allow, which is like the $75. And as soon as you go custom, you are up into that $300, $400, $500 range. So,
I mean, I would say the $100 is sufficient if it's $75 for the mailbox as it stands today. And then if you're looking for anything above and beyond that, that's, to your point, if it's triple that, that's triple what we would allow right now. That's, I mean, $150 isn't going to put a dent in it.
no.
We had to replace 2 mailboxes because we have a joint just pole mailbox that we share with our neighbors, and we spent a little more than Amy did. This was after my driver hit it on the first day of school last year, but leaving the street in front of our house. But I just don't think $100 is going to leave anyone whole in terms of even a basic mailbox by the time that you get the pole and the mailbox. So I guess I'm pushing for 150, but I'm not gonna
Just one
be
thing for
upset, I guess.
clarification. I mean, Public Works will install a standard mailbox for them. The post, the mailbox, everything, no charge. So, I mean, that option is
Oh.
available as well.
I thought that was part of installation as well. All right, then I will slightly rescind my 150 back to 100.
Yeah, that's a heck of a deal to have them come out and do the labor. And like I said, I think $100 is more than fair. I understand that, you know, my wife was pushing heavily for one of the mailbox. In fact, every time we go through your neighborhood, Matt, she's like, we need to do that.
And, okay. My mailbox has had the post office is like, you need to get a new one, and I haven't. So, I mean, like, mine's on the other end of the spectrum. So,
So like
I admit a lot of random things at these city council meetings. Apparently, I'm an open book. But
no, I empathize with the fact that somebody put in the money and the effort and the time to do it. And unfortunately, this is what occurred. But I think that there's a reason why we push to have what we have, and it's in compliance with both USPS and safety regulations.
So my question is, do we want to, I mean, it sounds like correct me if I'm wrong, we're okay with the idea of maybe doing away with the customs, but how about the permitting afterwards? Should it just be you have to do the standard, or we will allow the permit?
I guess how would permitting even work if the USPS doesn't, if they're pushing against it, I should say, not
I mean,
necessarily.
the
not allowing
USPS
it.
isn't going to become the mailbox police either.
Right.
Yeah. So what would be
Maybe we
the
go through a
criteria?
city department. I would assume since mailboxes fall with public works and engineering at the moment, that it would probably stay in that. Primarily, you are making sure that it's a safety issue, that it's set back appropriately, that things are, it's not right on top of the curb, and it probably adheres to what we currently allow today as far as custom mailbox installations, and that it's done right. But yes, you would have to have someone come out and actually verify, and you would need to look at a set of plans or say, yes, it's going to fit and or work to this amount, and you would appropriately probably want to charge a fee for that. I know we just went through chickens, so the basic fee that we charge, I think, is $30. So you would probably look at something of that nature, and if not higher.
So if there is a permit process, they would have to get a permit just to install any mailbox or just a specialty mailbox that is outside of the?
It would just be for custom mailboxes. That's how Clive and Ankeny handle it. So if you put the standard breakaway, then there's no permit, nothing required, you just put it in. If you were to do a custom, then yes, it would need to be a permit process. You would need to go pay for your permit, have it approved, and then have it inspected.
So, and just to be clear, custom would be the kind of the brick things, but if I'm having a breakaway and I have a big Vikings one at the top of that, that's sufficient. But that's not custom, right? That would be within the boundaries. Not that I have one, but I'm just
Your
curious.
Viking Pride would not be a custom mailbox. no.
Okay, I was just curious what the definition of custom is.
Custom, though, would be, breakaway is going to be your less than 4-inch metal post and or wood post. So like the resident that we heard from who had a very large steel post mailbox structure, that would still be a custom box because it's large and it's steel. It's not a breakaway structure.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be comfortable with allowing a permitting process for anyone who wants to assume the risk and build their own custom mailbox.
If the city.
John, how would we know if, I mean, our new neighborhoods are going in with cluster, is that the right word? I mean, they all
Yes.
have off-site mail delivery. I assume in some of our older parts of the community, they might even have on the house mailboxes. And so how would someone in that middle part of our city who's replacing their mailbox on the street know that they need to get a permit if they're going to do, like at our house, my daughter hit it at 8 o'clock in the morning and there was new mailboxes up by 3 o'clock.
Wow.
Because we just took care of it. We didn't do custom, but how would we know that we needed to even check that?
This would be an education campaign that we would need to promote it through social media, newsletters, things of that nature, and making sure that people understand, add it to the permit section of our website. So it's out there. And so if you were to do a search, it would pop up saying, oh, Urbandale mailbox permit. So I think there's a variety of ways to push that out there. Ultimately, it comes down to, does the resident get that information, understand it, and wish to follow it? We typically have not been policing things of this nature, so it would be on a complaint-driven basis, most likely.
And I guess the follow-up from all that is then do we put in place a fine or do we, what's the teeth to enforce mailboxes?
If we were to redraft the city code for mailboxes, you could add that it would be a 1099 if you were to put in one and not have a permit. But most times we like to go for compliance first instead of fining. So it would be hey, your mailbox is not up to code. Could you please move it? Could you please get your permit and go through the process? But yes, we could draft an ordinance that did say that if you did not comply, then you would be in violation of code section 1099 and that you. We don't typically do that, but yes, we could.
No, it's better to be nice. We're Iowans. It's what we is. It's fine. But I also deal in government and I understand that people don't tend to listen sometimes. So I just want to make sure that there's teeth to make sure that we enforce this, but okay.
And ultimately, what it does is it protects the city in the instance that it is hit, I'm assuming.
We are having this discussion tonight because of risk and how to transfer and or mitigate it. And so, yes, the current ordinance was set up a way to transfer that risk from the city to the property owner. And the discussion was, is that correct and is it fair? Everyone else around us, and we believe as staff, that it is fair. Stuff inside of the right-of-way is there for your pleasure, but at the same time, it is public space that oftentimes needs to be used. And things unfortunately need to be moved, they get hit, they get, destroyed. And that I understand that that's a difficulty, but at the same time, if we took that on, then we would need to increase the budget as well to handle that.
From the sounds of it, if we did pursue the ordinance, changing the ordinance to allowing it for a permitting process, we would be grandfathering in all the mailboxes that are currently out of compliance, or we think are not out of scope.
That is the recommendation, yes, that you grandfather in anyone from the date of its adoption and or passage. So if you were to install one in the next 2.5 weeks, someone's listening, then you would be grandfathered in, yes.
Better get your brick box in. No, I'll say I'm supportive of keeping it at 100, banning custom, grandfathering in the currents, creating a permitting structure.
I would be in favor of going down the same path.
This is not an action item.
Right, but just to give city staff
Give the city staff some.
No, I know.
direction.
Yep. So, all right, is that gonna be your direction?
We'll bring it back next council meeting for formal action.
All right.
Thank you very
Perfect.
much.
All right, thank you. Thanks, John. All right, that takes us to the end of our regular agenda. So mayor and council items. Amy?
Just awesome tonight. I'm super excited to have our miracle on 86th Street. It was really neat to see so many people out. Thanks to Mother Nature for cooperating.
All right, thanks. Matt?
I will be going to my first Metro Waste Authority meeting tomorrow, so I will hopefully by next time have an update on what's going on, but other than that, not much. Other than, yes, same, lighting was awesome, let's add more. Keep growing, so very cool.
I'd say I'd add to the Veterans Day
Oh, yeah.
ceremony was fantastic. We had so many events last week,
Yes, we did.
and all of them were great.
Yep.
I couldn't tell you what they all were at this point, but
Yeah, even the veterans event held by the senior center was awesome. Just reiterate the lighting program. I don't know what I was expecting, but 50,000 lights is a lot more when you see them actually turned on. I will give an update real quick. The Grow Solar program is completed. There was a total of 432.38 kilowatts of solar energy installed, which equated to about $1.2 million in local investment. So overall, highly successful program. I'm glad to see that we had so many folks throughout Polk County participate, and hopefully that trend carries forward. That's all I got.
All right, thank you, Larry.
Larry, do you know how many in Urbandale? I noticed that our permits in October for the the mounted solar were high. I didn't know if that was a result of the Grow Solar or.
I didn't get a specific number for Urbandale, but I can ask about that.
That'd be great to know. I mean, I'm super excited that how successful the program was. But thank you for leading our efforts.
All right, is that it, Larry? All right, Bridget, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Well, I'm sorry that I missed the lighting ceremony, but I can't wait to check it out. Hopefully, I'll be able to make it to the event on Friday. I think there's another event there. So
Yes. Santa shows up on
and-
Friday.
yes. So and I'm sorry that I'm not in person there tonight, but our technology, even though it's not working in the room there, it's pretty slick, and I appreciate that I was able to do this from home. I know I've missed some sports along the way, but I wanted to congratulate the Waukee combined girls swimming team for winning their state championship over the weekend.
All right, thank you. Just had one thing to add. I think this week, tomorrow night is at 7 o'clock at Station 42. There's going to be the life-saving awards and also swearing in of new fire officers. So if you can make that for that, it'd be good. I think, AJ, am I missing anything else?
Tomorrow or Thursday.
Could you give us an update on the lighting and how long it's going to be on and
Yeah.
the sequence of those things? Now that we've got you here?
I didn't wear my holiday tie for nothing today. So.
Okay.
So the lights will be on until, I think we're probably looking at January 11th would be the last weekend we'd probably be running it. There's a list of events that are available on the website. I think UCAN's event is this Friday, and Santa will be down there for a brief spell. The lights will run every night until about 10:30, and then they'll shut off. The ice rink is not quite ready yet. We need a few more cold evenings for that, but then that will be available as well. But there's plenty of places down there to take pictures and enjoy the holiday lights. And a big thank you to the Parks and Recreation staff. Dick is here tonight, but all of the crew just did a wonderful job getting that ready for us, and it really turned out well.
Just to clarify, I don't have to go down and turn them off and then turn them back on every night.
Well, at 10:30, if you could, you got to hit that switch one more time, so, but yeah, so.
Yeah, just make that happen.
Thank you again, council, for your support for that. It really is a cool thing. So I know AJ's really excited about it. So.
I am. I thought it was great.
It was good.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Hey, Scott, can you let us know when that ice rink is ready to go?
Yeah, we do post that. That goes out on our Facebook page as soon as it's ready. So Saturday looks like it's got some really cold temperatures, so we should get ice in hopefully by Monday. But again, we'll keep everybody posted via Facebook and Derek's social media outlets. So.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Scott. All right, with that, I'll ask for a motion in a second to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, all right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right.